If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you.
According to some audio that was put out earlier today by attorney Busby, Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense.
Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit is getting worse, and fast. What started as whispers on social media has erupted into a full-blown legal nightmare.
Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media.
And he wasn't at a strip club, but his text messages have been revealed, and it's quite embarrassing for ESPN. So he used to be on First Take, and now they are putting that on ice.
They're out there releasing pages and pages of text messages. They're out there releasing audio. It looks to me like both sides are engaged in trying to litigate this in the media before litigating it in a court of law.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown.
You know, it is a shakedown. It is a targeted attack, but Shannon needed to have some accountability because he gave them something to shake down. He gave them something to target by making poor choices.
I'm trying to hang out with these young and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it. Oh, you don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I do not think that element is true. I do think that he has been behaving sloppily, and so that has caught up with him.
You got this little ass girl sticking her tongue in your ass, your big football playing ass. That ass done played hella football, training camp, 2-a-days, 4 seasons. Funky ass, huh?
Because at that point she said that they were in a they were in an actual relationship. They were in Vegas together. So when that happened, she had already kind of been, in this thing where he's verbally abusive allegedly, but she thought that they were together. He tells her and threatens her allegedly to say that like he would her, she ever does that again. But the part of it, she says that she was allegedly anally twice and that it was very, very brutal.
It was Cat because he told me. He said they're going to come for you. And I was like, Cat, come on, Cat. I mean, I just,
I reached out to Attorney Busby and I asked him, first of all, did this happen? Did you guys file this because of that $100 million podcast negotiation conversation? And he said they've been in contact with Shannon Sharpe's counsel since February, long before any announcement.
And Shannon himself is dropping receipts. And I gotta say, this doesn't look good for his accuser at all.
Tony Busby said to me, he is a liar. He never even actually saw it. It wasn't even referenced or referred to in the case we filed. But now that his lawyer has breached the mediation agreement that Mr. Sharpe's counsel insisted upon, it should be known that there is indeed a video.
The first and most alarming development in Shannon Sharpe's situation is the civil lawsuit filed by a woman identified only as Jane Doe. This isn't some vague, baseless accusation. We're talking about a full-fledged legal action filed in Clark County, Nevada, demanding $50 million in damages.
So then I said, well, wait, y'all mediated? Because that means that
this shit been going on. Like, he been knowing about this.
Been wanting to, like, there was possibly a settlement. Like, there's been conversations, right? Like, y'all didn't come out of nowhere.
I've been telling you guys since the beginning, Pat McAfee does not fit with the rest of the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. He was also accused of putting Pat McAfee in an uncomfortable position.
According to the documents, the alleged victim claims she was in a relationship with Sharpe and that things took a dark turn behind closed doors. She accuses Sharpe of multiple counts of sexual assault, emotional abuse, and even claims that he shared intimate videos of her without her consent.
Who are being falsely accused to drop their receipts in the most public and aggressive way possible, because if you don't, the PR can deem you guilty before you even get to a court of law. This guy clearly has a lot of relations. I'm not going to deny. And these texts are explicit. But again, none of them are my business if it's between consensual adults. That's my thing.
That alone would be devastating to any public figure's image. But the scale of this case, $50 million and counting, tells us this isn't something Sharpe can just brush off. The civil lawsuit alone is enough to drain a celebrity financially and emotionally. For someone as visible as Sharpe, whose career depends on credibility and public trust, this is a ticking time bomb.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go, think I'm on, Cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror.
Rather than laying low or issuing a vague PR apology, Sharpe has come out swinging. He's outright denied every allegation, calling the lawsuit a shakedown. According to his legal team, the relationship was entirely consensual, and the lawsuit is nothing more than a cynical attempt to exploit his fame. His defense insists the accusations are not only false, but also part of a larger pattern of opportunistic behavior designed to secure a financial payout.
Sharpe and Doe met at a gym in LA in 2023 when she was 20 years old and he was in his mid-50s. Doe claimed that Club Shay Show host told her during the encounter that he would buy her fake tatas. This is a horrible accusation to say, and when you read the other side of what she's writing him, I'm sorry, she seems in the wrong.
Sharpe is trying to project strength, pushing the narrative that he's the real victim in this situation. But the question remains, will the public buy it? Denials only go so far when faced with damning claims. In a time when media coverage and online speculation move faster than legal proceedings, his reputation is already on shaky ground. And depending on how more evidence unfolds, his words may not be enough to protect him.
Get with a white woman because I was scared. She might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go. Come on, cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
Shortly after the lawsuit became public, Shannon Sharpe made a surprising move. He temporarily stepped away from his duties at ESPN. Now, while he didn't say it was because of the lawsuit, the timing raised more than a few eyebrows. Stepping back from such a high-profile role suggests that Sharpe and his legal team are preparing for a lengthy and serious battle. It's the kind of move you make when you're anticipating more heat. People immediately began speculating whether ESPN had pressured him to go on leave to minimize bad press, or if Sharpe himself feared things would escalate and didn't want to be caught off guard. Either way, when a public figure starts stepping back from the spotlight, it usually means there's more coming. And in this case, it's hard not to wonder if this lawsuit is just the beginning of a much larger storm. Here's where things get especially murky. As of now, no criminal charges have been filed against Shannon Sharpe. That's a key point. Everything we're seeing is rooted in a civil lawsuit, which is fundamentally different from a criminal case. In civil court, the goal is financial compensation, not necessarily jail time. But don't let that fool you into thinking Sharpe is in the clear. Civil cases often act as a precursor to criminal investigations, especially when the allegations are this serious. If prosecutors feel the evidence presented in this lawsuit is strong enough, they can absolutely open a criminal investigation down the line. That's why legal analysts are watching this case so closely. It's not about what's happened yet, it's about what could happen next. If any of these accusations are supported by more evidence, or if other alleged victims come forward, there's every possibility that we could see law enforcement get involved. And if that happens, Sharpe's legal nightmare could transform into a criminal prosecution with real jail time on the line. Sharpe isn't going into this quietly, and his legal team is treating this like war. He's being represented by Lanny J. Davis, a high-powered attorney who has worked with public figures in scandal before. Davis has issued strong public statements defending Sharpe, calling the allegations baseless and attacking the credibility of the accuser. He's claimed that the plaintiff is intentionally trying to smear Sharpe's name ahead of contract negotiations and upcoming business deals. There's also been talk of releasing additional evidence, including messages and videos, to support Sharpe's side. But that's a risky game. Releasing private communications might backfire and shift the public narrative even further against him. Still, the legal strategy is clear: attack the accuser's credibility, control the media narrative, and stall for time while building a case. But even with the best lawyers, public opinion doesn't wait. Sharpe may win in court, but still lose in the eyes of fans, sponsors, and media partners. Since the story broke, social media has been in full meltdown mode. On one side, there are people defending Sharpe, calling the lawsuit a money grab and questioning the accuser's motives. Some fans insist that Sharpe has always been a stand-up guy, someone who empowers others and speaks with integrity. But on the other side, the reactions are brutal. There's a growing chorus of voices who believe the accuser, or at the very least believe that something deeply disturbing happened. Screenshots from old interviews, podcast moments, and even jokes Sharpe has made are being dug up and reinterpreted in a sinister light. Cancel culture is circling, and it's not slowing down. Sponsors are likely watching all this play out behind the scenes, measuring their next move. Sharpe's brand has always relied on authenticity and charisma, but when you're facing serious allegations, charm can only take you so far. Right now, he's one viral headline away from losing everything. Perhaps the most important thing to remember here is that this case is far from over. In fact, it's barely even started. Civil lawsuits, especially ones involving celebrities and large financial stakes, can drag on for months or even years. There will be depositions, public statements, possibly counter-lawsuits, and a constant stream of media scrutiny. Sharpe's legal team may try to settle, or they might push for a trial to clear his name. Either way, his life is now locked in a legal tug-of-war. Every move he makes will be dissected. Every interview, every tweet, every podcast appearance, nothing is off limits now. And even if he eventually wins the case, the damage might already be done. For someone like Shannon Sharpe, whose empire is built on public trust, this isn't just a legal issue. It's an existential threat to everything he's built. The road ahead is long, and no one, possibly not even Sharpe himself, knows how this ends. One of the most unpredictable variables in any high-profile legal battle is the internet. Once a story catches fire, there's no stopping the wave of amateur investigators, bloggers, and digital sleuths combing through every public record, old interview, or unguarded moment. That's exactly what's happening with Shannon Sharpe. Since news of the lawsuit broke, online detectives have been hard at work digging into his past, and what they're finding could complicate things even more. A resurfaced claim alleges that Sharpe was once involved in a workplace incident at FS1, where he reportedly got physical with a female production assistant. According to some sources, the incident was quietly resolved with a financial settlement, and no official lawsuit was ever filed. However, the silence surrounding it only adds to the suspicion. Shannon's legal team denies anything inappropriate happened, calling it a mischaracterization of playful physical interaction. But let's be real, phrases like that don't sit well when someone's already in hot water. In today's culture, where reputations can crumble over things said decades ago, even one shady incident from the past can become the smoking gun that turns public opinion permanently. And if more buried skeletons come to light, Sharpe may find himself battling a war on multiple fronts: the courtroom, the internet, and the court of public opinion. If the current lawsuit wasn't enough, yet another twist has emerged, one that casts a long shadow over Shannon Sharpe's past behavior. An old defamation case from 2023 filed by Sharpe's former long-term girlfriend, Michelle Evans, has suddenly resurfaced in the public conversation. Michelle accused Sharpe of becoming violent after she confronted him about cheating. In her court documents, she claims Sharpe forced her into sexual acts, stalked her, and threatened to ruin her life if she ever spoke out. Even more disturbing, the language Michelle says Sharpe used during the alleged assault almost exactly mirrors the wording in the new lawsuit filed by Gabby. Both women claim he said variations of, "I'm going to make it so no other man wants you." That kind of eerie similarity isn't easy to ignore, and people are taking notice. Even if the allegations in Michelle's case were dismissed or settled, their sudden relevance now raises serious concerns about pattern behavior. Sharpe's legal team has dismissed the old case as fantasy and a money grab, but in the court of public opinion, patterns matter. And when two women, years apart, tell almost identical stories, it's no longer just about one case. it becomes a character issue. And once the public starts doubting your character, everything you've built, your legacy, your business deals, your influence, can start to collapse like a house of cards.